She noticed it first on a utility bill, 2 addresses, same name, and a child's school listed she'd never heard of.
I'm Elena.
And until that moment, standing barefoot in a rented apartment in Lisbon, holding a crumpled EDP electricity statement, I thought I was the only woman in Daniel's life. I'd left everything behind in Toronto 3 months earlier. My nursing job at St. Michael's Hospital, my tiny but sun-drenched condo near High Park, even my cat, Miso, who now lives with my sister. All because Daniel called me one rainy April night, voice trembling, saying the neurologist found something serious. A rare autoimmune disorder affecting his optic nerve. He might go blind. He needed help. And he asked for me. We'd been engaged for 8 months. Planning a fall wedding at a vineyard in Niagara-on-the-Lake. I had fabric swatches pinned to my fridge, a spreadsheet tracking RSVPs, and a ring that caught the light every time I washed my hands after a shift. When he said, "Come to Portugal, just for a few months while I get treatment," I didn't hesitate. His family was from Porto. He'd kept his Portuguese citizenship. Said the specialists here were world-class. Said he couldn't face it alone. So I packed 2 suitcases, applied for a temporary residency visa under family reunification, and flew into Humberto Delgado Airport on May 12. Daniel met me at arrivals looking pale but smiling, leaning on a cane he'd started using after balance issues kicked in. We hugged, and I whispered, "I've got you." And I meant it. The apartment he'd rented was in Alcantara, a quiet neighborhood along the Tagus River. Small, but clean. White walls, blue shutters, a balcony where we drank espresso every morning. He told me his old place had too many stairs, wasn't accessible. Made sense. I didn't question it. I was too busy navigating new grocery stores, learning bus routes, translating medical forms. I even started volunteering at a local clinic twice a week to keep my skills sharp. I wanted to be useful. To be his anchor. But little things began to slip. Like the day in late June when he said he was going to a follow-up appointment at the hospital in Amadora. I offered to come, but he insisted I stay. He didn't want me to miss my volunteer shift. Fine. But later that afternoon, I got a call from the school nurse at Escola Básica de Torre. They said Daniel hadn't picked up Miguel and the boy was still waiting at the gate. I laughed it off, must be a wrong number. But the woman repeated the name, Daniel Costa. Father of Miguel Costa, year 3. My blood went cold. Daniel's last name is Silva. Not Costa. And he has no children. At least, that's what he always said. Kids aren't really in the cards for me, he'd told me during our 3rd date, over poutine at a Toronto pub. So why was the school calling him father? I asked him about it that night. Casually, over grilled sardines. He froze mid-bite. Then shrugged. Must be another Daniel. Common name here. But his eyes darted to the window. And he changed the subject fast, too fast. After that, I started paying attention. Not spying. Just noticing. Like how he'd disappear for physiotherapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays but never came back sweaty or sore. How his phone would buzz with messages he'd silence immediately. Once, I saw a notification flash, "Love you, sleepyhead 2 hearts, C." He locked the screen before I could read more. Then came the passport. I needed it to renew my residency permit, so I asked to borrow it. He handed it over reluctantly. Flipping through, I saw a stamp from Faro Airport dated March, 2 months before I arrived. But Daniel had told me he hadn't left Lisbon since January due to his symptoms. Why was he in the Algarve? And why did the entry stamp show he'd flown in from Madrid? That's when I googled Daniel Costa plus Lisbon plus school. And there it was. A photo from a parent-teacher event last year. Him. Standing beside a woman with warm brown eyes and long dark hair, both smiling proudly next to 2 boys, one around 6, the other maybe 9.
The caption, Familia Costa supporting Escolatore. I printed it. Sat at the kitchen table for an hour, staring. The man in that photo wore the same silver bracelet I'd bought him for his birthday. The one he claimed he'd lost. I drove to the address listed on the utility bill the next morning. 30 kilometers north, in Sintra. A modest house with terracotta tiles and bougainvillea climbing the walls. A bicycle with training wheels leaned against the front gate. Through the window, I saw her, the woman from the photo, packing lunches at the counter. Calm. Routine. Normal. I didn't knock. I just sat in my rental car, engine off, watching life happen in the home my fiancé had built without me. That's when it hit me, this wasn't a secret affair. This was a parallel life. A full, functioning family. And I was the intruder. Back in Lisbon, I confronted him. Not yelling. Just quiet. Devastated. I laid out everything, the school call, the passport, the photo, the second address on the EDP bill. He didn't deny it. Just slumped into a chair and said, I was going to tell you, eventually. Eventually? After the wedding? After I sold my condo? After I gave up my license in Canada? He explained, or tried to. He'd met Carolina 10 years ago, when he was working in Madrid. They moved to Sintra when she got pregnant. They never legally married, but in their community, in their hearts, they were husband and wife. He called her his common-law partner. When his health declined, he panicked. Thought Carolina couldn't handle the stress, the medical bills, the uncertainty. So he reached out to me, his safe Canadian fiancé, who lived far away, emotionally detached from his daily reality. I thought I could manage both, he said. Just until I got better. Manage both? Like scheduling appointments? Like juggling calendars? He'd been living a double life for months. While I cooked him soup and rubbed menthol into his temples, he was texting lullabies to his son Mateo. While I researched clinical trials, he was signing permission slips for soccer camp. And the worst part? Carolina had no idea I existed. She thought Daniel was traveling for experimental treatments in Germany. That's what he told her. Meanwhile, I thought I was his only lifeline. I spent that night packing. Not dramatically, just methodically. Folded my clothes, boxed my toiletries, deleted his number from my phone. The next morning, I called the Canadian consulate. They helped me file for emergency repatriation support. Within 72 hours, I was on a flight back to Toronto. But leaving wasn't the end. Because once I was home, I realized the damage ran deeper than heartbreak. My nursing license had lapsed during my absence. My savings were drained from rent, flights, medical copays I'd covered for Daniel. And emotionally? I questioned everything. Had any of it been real? Was our engagement just a backup plan? I hired a lawyer. Not for revenge, but for clarity. Turns out, under Portuguese family law, Carolina had stronger claims to his assets than I did, despite our engagement. But because I'd paid for several months of his medical care and housing using my Canadian credit card, I had a paper trail. We settled out of court. He reimbursed me for documented expenses. No alimony, no drama. Just receipts and signatures. Carolina reached out to me 6 months later. Not angry. Just confused. She'd found old emails between us, love letters I'd sent during chemo scares. He'd lied about that too. No chemo, just steroid injections. She wrote, I don't blame you. I blame him. But I needed to know you weren't malicious. We never spoke again, but I respected her dignity. She was grieving too, not just a partner, but the truth of her marriage. It's been 2 years now. I'm back at St. Michael's, working night shifts in the ER. Less glamorous than Portugal sunsets, but honest. Real. I adopted another cat, this one named Juno. And I finally understand something: deception doesn't always roar.
Sometimes it whispers through utility bills, missed pickups, and passport stamps that don't add up.
Looking back, the red flags were there.
I just chose not to see them because I loved the version of him I believed in,
not the man he actually was. If I could go back, I'd ask harder questions sooner. I'd verify stories.
I trust my gut when something felt off, even if it shattered the dream.
Because dreams built on lies collapse anyway. Better to face the truth early than rebuild your life from rubble later.
And to anyone listening, if someone's story feels inconsistent, if timelines don't align, if small details contradict, don't dismiss it as paranoia.
Document it. Verify it. You deserve a love that doesn't require hiding. Daniel? Last I heard, he's still in Sintra.
His vision stabilized. He walks without the cane. And every September, he posts a photo of his boys starting a new school year.
I don't follow him. But sometimes, life circles back.
And when it does, I hope he remembers the woman who crossed an ocean for him and the cost of the lie that sent her home.
This story isn't just about betrayal.
It's about the quiet courage it takes to walk away from a future you planned and build a truer one from scratch.
And if this resonated with you, share your thoughts below. Which red flag would you have caught first, the school call, the passport, or the second address? Comment 1, 2, or 3.
Your insight might help someone else see clearly, before it's too late.